This is not a summer video. I did post it in summer because demand increases then, and I do have loafers on this list specifically good for summer, but loafers with trousers or jeans are an excellent choice for any time of year. And with the right model of loafer, they're a perfect option for any type of dress. Because you may not be aware of just how many types of loafers there are and how easily you can dress them up and also down. So in this video, after more than 6 years of making content about casual leather footwear, I'm naming the best casual loafers, best dress loafer, light and flexible travel loafers, the popular and cutting edge chunky loafer, the most versatile one that you can dress up and down, probably gonna be the best for everybody. And a couple other wild cards like Tassel and Gucci loafers, although mine are not from Gucci. If you're already bored, there's an article in the description below you can use to jump around to your preferred category, but the description also has timestamps so you can jump to your category in this video to the products, and also there are links to the products as well, but let's just start the list. You've got places to be. The best loafer overall, I had massive difficulty choosing between two models because they're both kings of the category for totally different reasons. Wikipedia tells me that's called a diarchy as opposed to a monarchy, and I wound up splitting them between most versatile and best for summer, so that should help you decide which one you want. The most versatile loafer, certainly the most popular of the two kings, and also boasting far and away the most leathers and sizes and widths. There's so much to like about Grant Stone's Traveler. I've owned two pairs and I encountered them constantly in real life and on Reddit. Certainly the most popular version of which is also the version that I got for my father, and they're also a pair that I wore myself all over Italy and England. That is the Grant Stone Traveler in Dune, which is undyed Chrome XL leather. That's from Chicago's Horween Leather Company. It ages beautifully. It's the go-to leather for rugged boots, but it's crazy versatile and looks great on loafers too. This kind of loafer is just like called a loafer, like the loafer. It's also called a penny loafer. If you've got the single strap over the middle, combined with the perfectly curved but not at all narrow toe, makes Grant Stone's Traveler shockingly versatile. You can pair it with tweed or with shorts. You're good for any occasion. Two other things that make the Traveler extremely rare in the world of loafers. It comes in 3 widths. Like 2 widths is a lot, 3 is a crazy amount, and it comes in a ton of leathers. So as you can see, I also grabbed these in blue calf suede from CF Stead, which is indisputably the world's best suede maker, and there are a dozen other leathers at least to choose from. The bourbon suede is also super popular. The fact that it's lined also means it's good at holding its shape, but it's not quite as amazing at breathing in hot weather. So if you're wondering how any loafer could be better than Grant Stone, let me tell you about the co-regent king of the loafer diarchy, my favorite loafer for summer, Oak Street's Beef Rolled. Advantages or potential advantages this has over Grant Stone. It's unlined, so it's much better for summer and for wearing sockless if you want. It's Blake stitched, so it's lighter and more flexible than Grant Stone's Goodyear welt. Now, both of those loafers are resolable, so they're both super durable. They'll last you for eons. And while the Goodyear welt means Grant Stone's is technically more water resistant, you're not really wearing loafers to stomp through puddles in any way. So I prefer Oak Street's for the fact that it's unlined, it's Blake stitched, it's made in America, while Grant Stone's are made in China, which matters to some people. Oak Street's also manages to be cheaper than most of Grant Stone's Traveler loafers. The price varies by leather. And Oak Street's made with what's called genuine hand-sewn construction, which is a bit too complicated to get into in this video. I explored this construction method at the factory that makes these and some other mock toes from other brands. But the difference basically is that instead of being sewn to the bottom of the edges, with this type of construction, it's more like you're standing on a piece of leather and it gets kind of folded up onto the top and then stitched to the plug here. So it's like one piece of leather wrapping around the foot, which many people find more comfortable. And it's also just sort of a vanishing art in shoemaking that you rarely see. So I like that a lot about it as well. So those two elements, unlined, Blake stitch, those are advantages with a loafer in my opinion. They do make it cheaper to make than Grant Stone's, in all fairness to that price difference. But the downsides are Oak Street, they just have the 1 width and they have just 3 leathers right now. They're all Chrome XL. These are called beef rolls here, these chunks of bound leather on the strap that are meant to resemble beef roast tied up in twine. And the beef rolls make these much more casual and therefore less versatile than Grant Stone. And also that hand sewn build, that does make the stitching here just a bit more pronounced and dresses it down a little bit more as well. So you can see why it was so hard to pick one of these. They're equally powerful, but with different strengths. Much like 9th century Hungary's diarchy of a religious authority and a military war chief. What if you're looking for a loafer you can dress all the way up to a suit and tie? Whether you can wear loafers with a suit is a matter of fierce debate between British traditionalists who say no, and those rebellious American colonists who thumb their noses at the stuffy British gentry's social norms, while of course the Italians will never think twice about pairing suede loafers with a nice summer suit. Indeed, continental Europe is the unofficial birthplace of the dress loafer, so it might come as no surprise that the Spanish island of Mallorca makes the best dress loafer, and I am of course talking about the king of dressy European footwear, Carmina Shoemaker. Carmina have some 24 lasts you can choose from, a last being the foot-shaped mold they build a shoe or boot around that determines the look and the fit. So they sell loafers at every conceivable level of European casual and dressiness. But when I visited their store in New York, and also when I visited their factory in Mallorca, they told me the best bet for an unimpeachably dressy loafer loafer that even the stuffiest of British landowners would sign off on is the Simpson Last. So this is the 1082 Simpson penny loafer made with this elegantly chiseled toe and box calf leather. This fine grained calf skin is the go-to leather for dressier footwear, and box calf is sort of the creme de la creme in some respects. It's like an extra vibrant but also extra tough version. Carmina, by the way, is even better known for making the most famous dress Chelsea boot, so they really do have a very well and verifiable reputation for making the dressiest version of footwear that some traditionalists would have considered impossible to make dressy, right? But you can wear Carmina's Chelseas with a suit and tie. Same goes for their loafers. Now, since we're in continental Europe, we've established the Italians have huge influence in loafers, and indeed it was the Italian Gucci family who created the Gucci loafer, also known as the Horsebit loafer or the Bit loafer in 1953. The Bit loafer's origins are also American though, in that Gucci made it in response to the loafer's soaring popularity in the United States. You put an ornament on it that is in the shape of a horse's snaffle bit, the thing you use to control the head of the horse when you're riding it, and they released it in black, which is a dressier color that was rare for loafers at the time. And this introduction of black loafers with a sharp and chromy piece of metal was pivotal in the rise of loafers in American professional environments, and also just the loafer being taken more seriously overall. And because of that American history of the Bit loafer, I had to choose an American company who make them in Wisconsin. This is the Randolph loafer from Allen Edmonds, which is a company that's over 100 years old and for whom this here is their top selling loafer. Other big bonuses for the Randolph, they come in 3 widths, which again is very rare. They're resolable. I find them really comfy, like very easy to take on and off, yet they stay on your feet when you're walking around very well. Plus they have some shock absorbing foam in there, and they come in 6 leathers right now. Although for my money, I think you should stick to black for a Bit loafer. I think the dressier touch of a horse bit on suede or tan can be a bit confusing. Some guys make it work, but I'd rather a different kind of loafer if you're going in that direction, a non-black one. And speaking of casual, let's dress down, man. Let's get chunky. I know a lot of guys feel that all the styles we've talked about so far are a bit old-fashioned, and while I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I might disagree with it, I don't think there's any denying that the chunky loafer is one of the most popular and most modern takes in the area of loafers, right? That's probably what most people are going to be wanting to know about. Some say the chunky loafer's origins are in the 1990s, others disagree, but we're talking about beefy, luggy soles and style and leathers that are much more fashion forward than the others that we've discussed. I used to have this Beckett Simonon loafer for like a good chunky loafer on a previous list of best loafers, but it doesn't hit that super modern vibe that people look for with this model, for which I think you're going to go with Koio's Arezzo. Koio is best known for their groundbreaking white sneaker, but these Arezzos are not that minimalist. They're very bold. They're completely made in Italy, even the shoebox is, and they have a wide range of pretty cool colorways to match what's in your mind's eye when you're thinking of a chunky loafer. Unsurprisingly, black is the popular one, and it's a very glossy one that definitely matches the style I see worn down in Soho all the time. But they've got a brown suede as well, and several two-tone chunky loafers as well. I am very aware this black and white one they call Dice is most likely the two-tone style the modern guy is most likely to pick. Personally, I'm a big fan of this one they call Pecan because it's like at the same time very 2020s. Still reminding me of old jazz spats from the 1920s. Another cool thing about Koio is they're super into sustainability. So along with shoes made with leather that manages to regenerate alpine ecosystems, they also make sure all their leather is certified by the Leather Working Group, which means you can be comfortable that they're not polluting local waterways in the tanning process, which actually can happen with really, really cheap leather. So it's nice to see that certification on any leather you get. Now, if what you're looking for is a loafer because they're so easy to slip on and off and like you're not traveling in a suit, like what if you just want a casual loafer to wear with like stretchy jeans while you're crossing the Atlantic to some country that loves loafers? Like Italy. These loafers are made in Italy, but also known for being very easy to travel in and also the least expensive on this list. Astaflex made their Patnoflex in a 6th generation family owned workshop outside of Milan. And this combination of being unlined and suede, which is usually thinner and more porous than leather, and the sole is a nice flexible leather as well. And the construction is very flexible, and they're made with the extremely rare construction called Ideal Stitch, which is sort of like stitched down, but it keeps everything lightweight. Anyway, my point is the Patnoflex is the most lightweight and flexible and inexpensive loafer on this list. Loafers like these without the mock stitch here, they're sometimes called Venetian loafers, and while I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you that Astaflex also makes a more classic penny loafer called the Dartflex, I do not like their model names, it's not the same construction, and the Patnoflex, this one here, is far and away their most popular model by a million miles, and you can get them at huckberry.com in the link below. And now I'm gonna wrap this up with one more. This is one that was definitely created in the United States, very, very American style, the Tassel loafer. This style was actually invented in Massachusetts by the shoemaker Alden in the 1950s. Alden does still make great loafers, but they're all over $650. The colors are limited, and there's usually a really long wait time for them, so it's hard to recommend them. And I'm showing my bias here as a New Yorker, to be fair, but my favorite Tassel loafers are from J. Fitzpatrick down in Soho. I'm talking a lot about Soho here. That is sort of New York's fashion headquarters. I visited Justin, J. Fitzpatrick. I visited his store on Thompson Street a few times if you want to learn more about him, but he's a fanatic for loafers. And he's honestly like the perfect guy to bridge those continental European and American loves of loafers. He's from the United States. He learned shoemaking in Florence, Italy. He lived in London, worked in Paris, eventually came back here to start a brand that he likes to characterize as dressy with a twist. So he does plenty of classic styles, but he's also known for having a lot of shoes and models with brighter colors and stylistic elements that make his shoes stand out without being over the top, which is a good way to describe Tassel loafers. Like, they've got an element of playfulness, but they can still be dressed up if you get the last right, which Justin does. Now, this model here comes in some suedes for more casual looks or some box calf like these. It's a nice, slightly elongated almond toe, but it's made with unusually sturdy Goodyear welt construction and tough rubber soles that were definitely inspired by how much walking we do here in New York. There's like a cobble on every street corner. And J. Fitzpatrick is well known for this specific model, his Tassel loafers. When I mentioned him to the manager of Carmina's New York store, he said, "Oh yeah, Justin, the guy who loves Tassel loafers," right? So that was actually after I'd already gotten my Tassel loafers from Justin, so I was glad to get that affirmation that he's like the Tassel loafer guy, and this is a really, really good model. And that's it. I put a couple more loafers in the article in the description, including 3 good ones for under $200 if you want to keep your budget down. Let me know in the description below which loafers you like and why, because there are, as I've established, a lot of different ways and a lot of different reasons and a lot of different styles that can handle the loafer. So I'm keen to hear your feedback on this one. And yeah, make sure you subscribe as well for more stuff on casual stuff that lasts a long time. I'll catch you for the next video.